Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another afternoon with Gryfflet in Middle-earth. This is Mythgard in Middle-earth with Corey Olsen. Welcome. We are still in Rivendell here. Gryfflet, as you see, is still in his party clothes. He's been celebrating heavily, and he has a toast for you here this morning as we continue to celebrate the reforging of Narsil, which was really a big deal and many weeks in coming, and all of the menial gopher work that Gryfflet had to undertake in order to accomplish this, but it was totally worth it, Aragorn. We were so glad to present you with Enduril, Flame of the West. That was a truly exciting moment, and now we are ready to resume the epic quest line. So I think, Gryfflet, it's time to get your game face back on. Actually, let's dress humbly for Glorfindel. Hey, dude, sorry about that. Didn't mean to be standing on Aragorn's table there. So we're going to head over to Glorfindel. Now, one thing I want to warn you of here today, this afternoon in lovely New Hampshire where I live, it is snowing rather heavily, and it's a rather ominously heavy snow, and I've been watching over the last couple hours as the trees in my backyard are bowing down more and more, which means it is prime tree branch falling on power line weather, and so there is a non-zero chance that I will suddenly lose power in the middle of the stream, and you'll be able to tell when I suddenly vanish. So don't be too alarmed. We will hope that that won't happen, but in case that does happen, and if it does happen, I'm very unlikely to be able to resume the stream before the end of the normal time. So again, we'll hope that that won't happen, but we will be prepared for the worst in case it does. So, alright, here we are in Rivendell, crossing the bridge, going back to the last homely house, or near the last homely house anyway, because we're going to go find Glorfindel. Glorfindel was definitely one of the characters I was super excited. Well, okay, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Any character that's mentioned in the Lord of the Rings, I'm always super excited to meet for the first time. After all, I'm still wearing Elladan's pants. So, but Glorfindel, you know, I mean, is there's just something about Glorfindel, you know. Glorfindel, one of the things that we get in Glorfindel that I think Tolkien is so successful in depicting in the character of Glorfindel is this sense of the greatness of the elves, right? You know, we're told that the elves are fading and that, you know, they're not as powerful as they once were, and even in the Silmarillion, right, we get that sense of how much greater the Calaquendi, the elves of the light, the elves, the Noldor who return from Valinor are when they come back to Middle-earth, how they've grown in stature and in power, and, you know, even greater above the elves that had remained in Middle-earth. And in the Lord of the Rings, we get a glimpse of that through Glorfindel in ways that we just don't in other places. And I think that sort of that vision of Glorfindel's confidence when he speaks, and that vision of him in the at the ford revealed, you know, and sort of shining white light and all the Nazgul running from him, is one of the clearest glimpses we get of, like, the pure, like, you know, like the pure awesomeness of the Calaquendi being uncorked here in Middle-earth, and that's pretty cool. So, you know, Glorfindel, even though, you know, Galadriel is just as cool, you know, she doesn't, I mean, she's a different category, of course, but it's just not quite as cool as Glorfindel, the way he comes alongside them and gives Frodo his horse. It's just awesome. So, I mean, yeah, Glorfindel is kind of something special. So, okay, right, Book 4, Chapter 3, this is what we need. Okay, all right. So, okay, Glorfindel, it's been weeks. It's been since last year that I did the epic quest, so I was searching for the writer. Remember the premise of Book 4 of the epic quest is another one of those examples of when the Turbine folks are sending us off to fulfill a subplot that gets mentioned in the Lord of the Rings, but is not ascribed to anyone, right? So they're so often very cunning to give those tasks to us as player characters, which is really cool. So again, you will remember that in the Fellowship of the Ring, we're told that the Fellowship of the Ring remains in Rivendell for some time, while while spies are sent out to search. We know that the bodies of the 8 of the Ringwraith's horses were found, but one of them was not found. So we're being sent out to scour the troll shaws for the missing horse. You'll remember we found the corpse of the missing horse surrounded by a bunch of ominous figures, including a couple Kargul, so that seemed bad. It seemed like that Ringwraith was still on the loose. And this was the conclusion that we reached after doing some further searches under the instructions of Elladan and LOTRO here in the camp whose name is escaping me at the moment. That place where they are, over there in the troll shots. Anyway, so then they sent us back to Glorfindel. So that's why we're here. Okay, I'm welcome to Imladris. Thanks, Glorfindel. It means a lot to me. These are times of trouble, but for now at least the curtain of shadow is held back and we meet in peace. I like that. The curtain of shadow is held back. Especially since we know the curtain of shadow is going to... Well, if it's not going to fall, it's at least going to creep, right? In the Return of the King. Okay. You bring grievous tidings from Elladan, but they are not entirely unlooked for. I fear that not all of the Nazgul were claimed by the Bruinen. Yeah, I kind of fear that too. This stray servant of the enemy will leave a mark on the wilderness. He may have already done so. And we can use it to track him. Oh. Well, I mean, you can, you mean? Like, I assume this is not exactly a mark that I can see, right? I assume like we're not looking for graffiti or, droppings or anything like that, right? He's not like marking, he's not like peeing on trees or something to mark his territory. I assume this is not that kind of thing. I give you my barrel. Okay, yeah, no, Stone. So remember, he left a barrel on the last bridge, which Aragorn found and took as a sign, right? So so we're like Aragorn, right? Because after all, we were Aragorn's surrogates just then, Glorfindel. So that's a pretty smart move on your part. I give you my barrel and ask you to hold it aloft at the Ford of Bruinen. Okay. Return to me once you have done so, and we will speak further. Okay, so the barrel at the Ford of Bruinen is gonna reveal... Thorinhad, that's the name. Sorry, the name of the camp where Elladan and LOTRO here are suddenly came back to me. So lifting the barrel at the Ford of Bruinen is going to reveal the presence of any markings. So if the Nazgul has, like, in some kind of obscure, dark, spiritual sense, left his territorial marking near the Ford of Bruinen, we'll see it. So, okay. These narrow bridges in Rivendell always give me trouble. Whenever I get any lag here, I sometimes occasionally end in the river. All right, I'll head off to the Ford of Bruinen once I successfully navigate the bridge and not fall into the water. Okay, all right, we're good now. Okay, very good. Well, and I wanted to... Gryfflet and I wanted to give a shout out to everybody who helped Wiggend in the legendary chicken run on Saturday. That was so much fun. I successfully, on my first attempt, thanks to all of my noble, brave, and self-sacrificing, literally self-sacrificing in several cases, protectors who guarded me and my flock of chickens, which was interesting because we started with 5 chickens and then we picked up another chicken along the way, and then right in the middle of the Pelennor field we picked up a 7th chicken who was actually one of the developers. We were telling the story about how the developers run around the world of Middle-earth in the form of chickens, normally invisible chickens. And one of the developer chickens popped up in the middle of our group and ran with us for a little while on that last leg to Minas Tirith. So that was really fun. Anyway, thanks again to everybody, all the people who worked so hard to help arrange it, and to everyone who ran with us and helped to protect Wigan. That was really great fun and so interesting. I was kind of overwhelmed taking things in as we were going around, just looking at the landscape of the of the world as we, because I'd never even been to Eastern Rohan before. It was the first time I saw Edoras. It was the first time I went to any part of Gondor. Going through the Path of the Dead, seeing Southern Gondor, Pelargir, and all that stuff was just so cool. And you know, southern Gondor, you know, the just really the whole of Gondor south of Minas Tirith, the part of Gondor that we only see basically indirectly, right? You know, we get an account of it. We get an account of it from Legolas and Gimli when they're telling Merry and Pippin about the ride of the Great Company through the Paths of the Dead. So it's not like we never hear about it, but we never really spend much time in it. And because we're getting that sort of secondhand account, we don't get the same kind of landscape description that it gets. You know, we just don't get the same level of detail that we get for other parts of Middle Earth. And you know, some people, I suppose, might sort of like that. Actually, I know some people think that there's too much landscape description in the Lord of the Rings, but of course, it's one of the things that makes the land of Middle Earth really come alive so much and seem, you know, so real and, as it were, kind of independent. Anyway, we don't get that for southern Gondor, so southern Gondor had always kind of remained in my mind. Okay, here's this little camp. Sorry, I'm trying to do something which is a little hard for me, which is talk and navigate at the same time. I think I can find my way to the Ford of Bruinen and talk at the same time. And dodge mobs. So we'll see how successful I am in achieving all of these noble ends simultaneously. Anyway, so as I was saying, the comparative paucity of detail surrounding... I'm supposed to go down this way. Am I getting lost? Yes. Not supposed to go down this way. The comparative paucity of detail for southern Gondor has made it, rather than making it kind of misty, has you know, always for me made it somewhat more, well, I guess mythic is the word that Tolkien would use. It has given it a kind of a legendary air. I have no, that's a dead end. All right, we're heading down this way now. Yeah, I think this is right. You know, because all we have, instead of descriptions of southern Gondor, all we have are concepts, essentially. You know, that it is a very fertile land. It is the Nazgul were denied passage across the Bruinen at this crossing. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever been to the Ford of Bruinen in Gryfflet. Yeah. Anyway, so just, you know, the idea of like the beauty and the fertility of southern Gondor are legendary. You know, they're the things that we hear about. But again, we never go there. So I was really excited, just as even more than seeing cities and even more than studying the architecture, which was fun too. Just being there and seeing the landscape and being able to kind of, you know, the opportunity that it gives to kind of challenge your imagination to sort of fill in those gaps a little bit is really fun. To me, that's one of the things that's really neat about LOTRO. But anyway, here we are at the Ford of Bruinen. This is great. Okay, so this is the very spot, right, where where Frodo and the Nazgul. So we got you can imagine the flood pouring down over this waterfall and then coming to sweep them away. So Frodo must have been standing right, like, hey, look, it's my posse. It's Kiriana and Moochie. Hey, how are you guys doing? Anyway, so yeah, so you imagine Frodo on his horse being right here. Oh, not on his horse, on Glorfindel's horse, right? So here's Frodo on Asphalth, you know, right here, being like, go back to Mordor, you shall have neither the ring nor me, right? And they're all 9 of the Nazgul here in the river. And then on the other side, right, we've got Glorfindel and Aragorn and Merry, Pippin, and Sam all charging down. Right, so they're all charging down here. Where's their fireplace? Not fireplace, campfire. Because they lit a fire for torches. It's got to be around here somewhere, right? Where did they light their fire and then come charging down? Because you know they're not going to leave out that kind of a detail, right? You can rely on the turbine folks to get. There it is. Yeah, see, You knew there'd be a dead campfire somewhere around here, right? So I think that must be what this is. So here is... This has got to be the remains of the fire that Glorfindel lit. Boy, he lit a big fire. This is like a signal beacon he would. Look at this. His campfire is like twice my height. Boy, when Glorfindel built a fire, he really built a fire. So, that, well, I mean, they needed, like, large flaming brands. So they built this fire here, right? There's the Ford of Bruinen right down there. And the Nazgul just chased down. So, like, Frodo and the Lord of the Ringwraiths are, like, dialoguing down here, right? And they're like, light the fire. So they light the fire. And then, well, okay, well, no, they don't mount up. I was about to mount up. But they don't mount up because they only had one horse and Frodo's on it. So then they're like, ah! And they charge down here probably a little faster than I'm going, right? And they charge down with their burning brands, and they chase out. And then Glorfindel goes all like nuclear on them, right? On the Nazgul. And now, what would have been interesting to me, what I wonder is, what would Glorfindel have looked like, say, to Frodo and Sam and Merry, right? When Frodo saw him from the other side of the river, he looked like a white flame, right? But Gandalf tells him in the next chapter, you know, when he recovers, Gandalf tells him that Frodo was seeing what Glorfindel looked like from the other side. So that is to say, he was sort of seeing his spiritual essence, because the Calaquendi, those who lived in the Blessed Realm, exist at once both in the physical world and in the the world of spirits. Gandalf explains in one of the passages that is both most puzzling and also most revealing about how that whole wraith thing seems to work. From within the whole book, one of the most remarkable passages in that way. Anyhow, but I do wonder what Glorfindel would have looked like from the point of view of somebody who was not perceiving the spiritual world in that moment. But anyway, there they were. So, Ford of Bruinen, so cool. But anyway, I've got a barrel to hold up. So let's, Gryfflet, let's hold up the barrel here. That was good. That was very dramatic. It glows with a pale light. Okay, I don't know what that means, but that's probably good. Let's assume that's good. Let's turn on my treasure hunter because... okay. So that was probably a good thing. Anyway, we got to go report it to Glorfindel now. So it's back uphill. Let's see if I can do it again. Find my way back up through the high moors to Rivendell while avoiding mobs and talking. Matmester, I wonder how you pronounce your name, asks, what do I think about not including the Grey Company in the Lord of the Rings movies, and about the Grey Company in LOTRO? Well, I mean, it's really hard it's hard to fault them for not including the Grey Company in the films. I will say that I always find Elrond's suddenly showing up. So if you think about it, Elrond suddenly showing up always throws me, right? But let's kind of back up from this a second. Think about that moment in the film, right? Think about, so essentially the Grey Company, the parallel to the arrival of the Grey Company in the film is Elrond's arrival at Dunharrow to give the sword, to give Andúril, the sword reforged, to Aragorn. That's the parallel, right? Because nobody comes after the Battle of Helm's Deep. That's not a thing. That's right at the moment at which the Grey Company would be coming would be like the very, very beginning of the Return of the King in the movie divides, right after the Battle of Helm's Deep, which is of course when it happens in the books too, right at the very beginning of the Return of the King. But anyway, that doesn't happen, right? And okay, so if you let's think first about exactly what are the choices that they're making there, right? Do you understand what I mean there? That is, what roles are they? So they're basically Elrond. Somebody comes from the north to give Aragorn something significant. Huh. It seems like... Oh! A lynx just killed my horse! That was so rude. It's probably the, like, nephew of the lynx that killed me in chicken form when I was soloing the trip to Rivendell. And I died, like, not far from here. Like, I was just about to cut... I was further than this, actually. I was just about to turn the corner and go into... and get to the gates of Imladris, and... dead. Stealthed lynx. Frickin' lynx. Anyway, okay, so they put Elrond in the role of the company itself, and instead of the banner, which of course the Grey Company is bringing from the north, which is a big moment, right? Not only because it was Aragorn, it was right here. Right here is where I got stealthed by that thing, and I was just about to turn the corner. So angry. My most frustrating chicken moment of all time. Anyway, okay. So the banner that Arwen makes for Aragorn is a really big deal, right? It is his open declaration of kingship. I mean, the way to kind of think about that banner, I mean, obviously it has personal significance for Arwen, and you know, it has kind of implications, right, about Arwen and Aragorn's relationship and their own time of waiting, right? This is sort of her basic, you know, the two of them kind of acknowledging, like, the time for waiting is almost past, like, this is it, this is the home stretch. But it's, I mean, this is the moment when, like, the hour has come, right? It's the declaration, the hour has come. He is by unfurling that banner, he is declaring himself king. Like, there's no going back after that. You remember Prince Imrahil after the Battle of Pelennor Field, when Aragorn says, "I don't think I'm going to come into the city at this time," and you know, they're like, "Are you going to allow the tokens that, you know, you raise the tokens of the king? Are you going to allow that to be challenged?" Right? So, you know, are you going to back down from that? You basically just declared yourself king on the battlefield by flying that banner. You know, so are you? What, are you going to take that back and be like, "Psych, just kidding. King hasn't actually returned." You know, it kind of seems like a big deal. And then, you know, Aragorn, of course, argues for prudence and just kind of holding back for now. But again, that's the significance of the banner, right? When he opens the banner, and you remember when he unfurls the banner is still bound up, right? It's still concealed, all the while that Halbarad is carrying it until they get to the Stone of Erech. When he calls the Oathbreakers to the Stone of Erech, then he unfurls the banner for the first time in one of the most sort of amusingly anticlimactic moments in the Lord of the Rings, when it's dark, right? You can't see anything, and if you read that passage, like, go to that passage in the Return of the King and reread it, and he bid Halbarad to unfurl the banner, and behold, it was black, and you couldn't actually see it, right? So, like, the first time it's revealed, nobody sees it. Well, I guess the Oathbreakers see it, right? So they so, I mean, it obviously kind of works out for them there, right? But anyway, it's that I always find that moment a little bit funny. So the banner's a huge deal. The films don't do the banner, right? And, you know, they chose instead to displace the reforging of the sword from this moment, where we just accomplished it in the game, to that point later on, and to have the sword kind of brought to him as a sort of surprise, really. I mean, the idea that Aragorn set off without it suggests, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that the film is trying to build the tension, right? They don't want Aragorn just to be like, "I am the triumphantly returning king. I am going forward to seize my destiny." And, you know, basically they want doubt, like, is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it, right? I mean, there's that whole business of how even through the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, there looks like a question of, like, is Aragorn going to fall, right? You know, is he going to show the weakness of men? You know, that's sort of part of the story that they're building up. And within the context of the film, that story really works. Elrond's suddenly traveling the entire distance from Rivendell to Dunharrow in order to intercept him there always strikes me as almost a little comical. So I don't consider that a really successful moment in the film. one of the other things we see in the film, especially we see this in the Lord of the Rings films, more so than in the Hobbit films, is the desire to reduce the cast of characters, which is already very large, so they don't introduce that many sort of extraneous characters. So that's why many of the minor characters who are important, who play an important role in the book, people like Halberud and the Grey Company, people like Baragond, right, in Minas Tirith, get cut out, right, in order to retain the focus on a greater focus on the smaller number of characters. So, Pippin and Faramir remain the focus in Minas Tirith instead of bringing in this other random Gondorian guy, right? And so they do the same thing again. The use of Elrond personally there always seemed to me a little bit ham-handed, but I'm just kind of a little bit much, just weird. Like, why would Elrond do that? That just seems strange. But again, I mean, I can understand their rationale. So do I miss the Grey Company in the films? Yes. Would I like to see the Grey Company in the films? Absolutely. Will the Grey Company be featured prominently in the Silmarillion film project when we get there? It certainly will. But I can understand why they do it in the films. Hey, Glorfindel, so it glowed. It glowed. Okay, yeah, I did. I noticed a change. Yeah, it began to glow. Okay, that's what I expected, and I'm glad it was so, for it shall be our means of locating the Nazgul that remains hidden in the wilderness. Oh, wait, so I was locating Nazgul? Of course the Nazgul were at the Ford of Bruinen and Glorfindel. We already knew that. The 9 servants of the enemy and the shadow beneath the shadows beneath... Sorry, I'm not giving him his fitly dramatic dialogue. The 9 servants of the enemy and shadows beneath his greater shadow are creatures of such evil that the land cannot bear their presence. Ooh, I like that. This barrel will glow in places where they have been. It will allow us to follow the missing rider's trail. Oh, that's really nifty. So the barrel is in some sense in touch with the earth, and it can sense the sort of the wounding or even perhaps the grief of the earth that is registered there when the Nazgul pass by. I really like that. It seems to me actually kind of connected to the idea of how, remember that Gandalf talks about there being a magic of a kind in the Shire as well that could help against the Nazgul, like that the Nazgul would have a hard time in the Shire. And this is one of the things that, a lot of people kind of underestimate this. It sort of seems like, why are the Nazgul so bungling in the Shire, right? Well, one of the things that Gandalf explains later on is that they are inhibited in the Shire. It kind of like the hope and dread system that LOTRO has, like the Nazgul are operating under dread. So, like, just as you imagine your LOTRO character when your dread is so high that your mini-map just becomes like the flaming eye of Sauron, right? The Nazgul are operating like that when they're in the Shire. That's how that would be presumably how it would be for them to be here in Rivendell as well. So we have, of course, right, the inverse of the hope and dread scale. And that does affect evil creatures. That's the way... Okay, now, the exact hope and dread scale is not exactly how Tolkien describes it, but again, that kind of impact, and that's why I've always admired the hope and dread scale in LOTRO. I think it's a fantastic way to quantify something which is really unquantifiable, the way that Tolkien describes it. So I think they've done a great job. So here, the idea that so this sense that places that are wholesome and natural and good respond negatively to the Ringwraiths makes a lot of sense, and that his barrel can detect it. Why not? So, I get it, Glorfindel. We were calibrating it at the Ford of Bruinen. Well, that makes sense. That's very sensible. Okay, I don't often travel into the wild, though I will do so when the need is great, as the ranger Aragorn or his small friend Frodo Baggins could tell you. Yeah, heard rumors about that. The sons of Elrond are better suited for directing your search for the missing Nazgul. Yeah, met them, they're great, still wearing the pants. I leave my barrel in your care for the time being and ask you to return it to Elladan, to Elladan, at his camp in Thorinhad. He will know where you should bring it to follow the traces of the Nazgul. Okay, go with speed and with clarity of vision. I'll try. The barrel will help you to find this stray servant of the enemy. But what will you do when you find him, I wonder? Take him down! That's what I'll do, Glorfindel, because I should confess that I am not just a little farm lad. I am Ninja Gryfflet. I will take him down. Don't you worry, Glorfindel. I got this under control. And I immediately run into a tree, just to show my competence and establish Glorfindel in the proper state of confidence in which he should be in my epic abilities. All right, back to Elladan, in Thorin had. That's the name. Okay, cool. So, but as far as the other half of your question, what do I think about the Grey Company in LOTRO? I love the Grey Company in LOTRO. I am only, let's see, I'm in book 4? I think Wigand, who is my most advanced character, who's still not very advanced because I'm a completionist, I have finished... I've done now a completionist tour of pretty much all of Eriador. I think I'm done with Eriador now. And Moria. And almost Mirkwood. Almost done with completionist Mirkwood. So I'm making progress. And I am moving down through Enidwaith. I'm finishing up Enidwaith, completionist. And whoa. Man, I lagged 180 degrees right there. That was kind of spectacular. Anyway, but Wigand is ranging on ahead and doing the epic quest line, and he has completed through volume 3, book 4, as I think I said. That is, I just finished the Nar stuff, and he is about to move down into Dunland. The first time I've ever done any actual questing in Dunland. I've visited Dunland during the Where's Wigand event that I did during our fundraiser. I have chicken run through Dunland. But I've never quested in Dunland before, so Wigand is about to do that for the first time. Thorinhand, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so anyway, so just to contextualize, that's all I've seen of the Grey Company so far. So I don't have the full Grey Company story, but I've been really enjoying it. I mean, one of the things that I just thought was the coolest was the beginning of book 4, or volume 3 rather, when you're sent off to collect the Grey Company, and of course you know them all personally. It's such a cool thing and such a cool advantage from LOTRO over the book that we get basically Halberud and a bunch of other guys, right? A couple of them are named posthumously right after they die at the Battle of Pelennor Field, and their names go in the song. But it's I mean, you never know who they are. They're the Rangers of the North, and you only get to know Halberud because he's the one he's their leader, and he's the one who's named, and he's the one carrying the banner. So that they would go through and you would go to all these rangers that you got to know and that you quested with and talked to, Golodir and Kendaith and Saradan and all those guys. Really cool. Saradan, sorry. Really neat. So I just absolutely loved collecting the Grey Company and coming down. I thought that the idea to Halberud's wild scheme to make a bunch of fake rings of Barahir so they could all pose as Aragorn was both like really, really clever, also really funny, and also a little bit insane in an endearing kind of way. So that was, I really laughed when we got to that. When we got to that part, I was like, hey, can I have one too? It's like, yes, I'm Aragorn and so's my wife. But anyway, that was fun. I will say though, I have just gotten to, and I assume that everybody watching this stream knows LOTRO better than I do. So I hope, spoiler alert, if you've not done volume 3, but I just got to the death of well, okay, I won't say, but I just got to the death of one of the Rangers, which was very sad, and I did kind of see it coming. I was like, no, don't do it. But oh man, yeah. So it's been really neat, and then the posthumous video that we got from him, right? Oh man, all the memories of all the quests that I did for him before, and man, yeah. So I loved it. I've been really enjoying volume 3 so far. Hey, Elladan. Nice pants. The words of Lord Glorfindel are most wise. Of course they are. And his gift of this barrel brings me hope that we may be able to regain the trail of this missing Nazgul. You have my thanks, but I must now determine where we are to bring the barrel. What a good plan. That's more or less why I was sent to you.
Mind my words.
Okay, all right. You've given some thought. Oh, good. That didn't take you too long, which I'm glad to see. While I don't know if this is the answer, my heart tells me we must exhaust this course before we can be sure it is fruitless. Caves. Okay, so you think he went into a cave. That seems plausible. Okay. Home to the creatures that give this place its name. Oh, trolls, right? Good, yes, lovely. The missing Nazgul suffered some grievous hurt when caught between the fires of Glorfindel and the ranger Aragorn and the waters of Bruinen. I bet he did. And he must have escaped to some secluded corner of the wild to regain his strength. I believe he fled to one of the troll caves. Good theory. I will write down the names and locations of these 3 caves, descend into the deepest chamber of each, and hold Glorfindel's barrel aloft. Right, y'all do the barrel detection thing. Okay. Alright. Alright, we will do this. Excellent. Okay, so I've got to go to the caves and find their deepest chamber, and then do my sensor thing. Okay, now as I recall, one of them is pretty close to here, and the other 2 are in the North Troll Shaws, which will be even more entertaining than usual. Okay. Alright, let's do this. Let's go to Troll Cave number 1. We'll see if I can get through all 3 troll caves today. Not sure that's going to happen, but we'll see what we can do. Alright. Ah, yes. The Troll Shaws, home of the floating rings, where every beast you meet in the wild has a ring floating over its head. Hello, ring troll. Oh yeah, well, hang on, I want to be down on the lower side of this bluff, not on the upper shelf. There's a cave. Looky there. Okay. Alright. Let's do this. How bad can it be? Let's see if I can stealth my way past a bunch of trolls. Okay, so now I can... Oh, good. Inspiration. That'd be nice. Okay, that's a little better. Let's have a little pie. A little steak and kidney pie. Yeah, why not? Okay, good. Good. Alright. Okay. Let's stealth up. Where do we want to go? Hey there, Olog Mangler. Cur Olog Mangler. Shh. Hey. Passing lane over here. Stealthy hobbit coming through. Boy, these investigation quests are a lot easier when you can just walk right past all the mobs. Shh. Hi, troll. Yeah. Burglar coming through. Shh. Hey. I'm just going to go between your legs. Oh, duck! Oh, yeah. You never saw that little burrow hobbit coming through. That's right. Okay. Here we are. Deepest chamber of Nurath right here. Okay, so, let's see. Can I stand far enough away that I won't aggro him to me when I hold it aloft? I bet I will anyway. It's okay. Oh, wait. Can't use it. Isn't this the deepest chamber? Oh. So I have to kill this guy? Hey there. Okay. Alright, sorry, I thought it said I was in the deepest chamber, and then it said it wasn't working. So hang on a second, maybe I'm not standing in the right spot again. Oh yeah? You think so? Huh? I'll give you a little bit of the other, right? Take some of this and some of that. You cur Olog Mangler, you. Would you stop stunning me? It's really vexing. That's right. Okay. Now, where was the spot? Why can't I use the thing? It said that this was the deepest chamber. Do I have to go out and come back in? What the heck? I leave the deepest chamber. Okay. Now I go back into the deepest chamber. Okay. Why can't I use the barrel? Uh, have I already used it by default? I guess so. It seems to have disappeared from my thing. So I guess I'm good. I guess I'm good. All right then. Maybe I'm continually using it while I have inspiration. Okay. I confess to slight confusion. I have to use the one in my pack. Oh, there's one in my pack? There's a separate one. Oh, right. Look at that. Oh, it's... I see. I was confused between the barrel and the shimmering elf stone. Right. Thank you. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Phew. Oh, boy. That would have been embarrassing to come all this way here. I'm going to put this up here. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you, Kirianis. We've got my my faithful healing friend with me here from the Department of Hobbit Security. Very important. All right, I'm going to stealth my way back out. Here we go. Okay, phew. That was that was nearly a disaster. I think that has happened to me before. I'm just not smart enough to actually remember the lesson. Okay, it's the double elfstone thing that got me. All right, here we go. These trolls are dumb as bricks. Hey, trolls. Good to see you. All right, passing zone again. Okay. I am so stealthy. Just can't get over how proud I am of myself. Whew, okay. All right. Done. Well, no Nazgul in cave number 1, apparently. So let's go to cave number 2. Now, let's see. From here, yeah, I should go back to the road and around up that way. That's, unless... do I have a swift travel to Barakan's camp from here, I wonder? That'd probably be faster. Alright, we'll pass the other ring trolls and go back. Okay. Excuse me, bears. Yeah, good to see you again. Long time no see. Oops, that's the wrong path. It's the path to the res circle, which is not what I need. I want to go back up to Thornhad for a second, see if I can get some swift travel for part of this trip. That'll make it a little bit easier. And then I'll just go from Barakan's camp up to the North Trollshaws, because I'm pretty sure I have not introduced myself to the stable master in the North Trollshaws, as I am pretty close to 100% positive that Gryfflet hasn't been there. Okay.
How can I be of service?
Oh, good idea. How about that? Yeah, because I helped him find those dwarf gems. You know, that's right. It's all coming back to me now. Boy, it was so long ago that I did the... the eastern part, or the western part of the Trollshaws, rather. Okay. Hey, everybody. Good to see you guys again. Yeah, you'd rather be in Thorns Hall. I understand. Yeah, you've been sitting there for a while, man. Found your gems. Okay. Now we've got to make our way to the North Trollshaws and find those other caves. Seems to me perfectly plausible that a wounded Nazgul would attempt to hide in some troll caves. I would think the trolls would take him in, be reasonably hospitable. I mean, it's not like it would be a nice place to hang out. I mean, the smell would have to be just awful. But I mean, well, okay, I was just about to say that the Nazgul, you know, not having purely corporeal bodies probably wouldn't be minding that much. But then remember, they were sniffing for the hobbits, so they do seem to have something like a sense of smell. But of course, one wonders if, in retrospect, that was not. Oops, yeah, I'm about to go too far here. Let's not do that. You know, if in retrospect, when the Nazgul was sniffing for the hobbits in the Shire, if he wasn't actually, you know, sort of smelling the blood of living things, right? Rather than rather than actually, you know, smelling for them, following their scent in a more conventional kind of way. Is this? Hey, wait a second. This is that. No, this is the wrong place. This is not where I want to be. I'm still too far to the east, I think. Oh, that goblin went so far to follow me. Oh, and took out my horse. That's it. I don't stand for that kind of thing. Okay, goblin breeder. I'm going to give you what's coming to you. You've got one big dose of burglar coming your way. Yeah, and don't call me in the morning. Okay. Back to find the entry to the North Trollshaws, which I have to admit is not a place I've hung out very much. So that's why I have almost twice now missed the entrance. Alright, so we're going to need to go a little bit more this way. Man. Okay, we're back close to the road. Let's go over this rise and down into this next little valley where we should be okay. Okay, look, I didn't even break the ankle of my horse. That was thoughtful. Okay. Now, can we get through here? I think we can. I think I have found the gateway to the Northern Trollshaws here. Okay. Very good. All right. Yes. All right, here we are where the mobs get bigger. And my attempts to dodge folks. Good job, dwarf. Yeah. Are you a hobbit, aren't you? No, you aren't. You look like a dwarf. Ah, you got that, man. Okay. Let's see, which one should I go to first? Let's go to this one first. The one on the left. Let's go to the westernmost one. There it is. It's right there. Just have to dodge some trolls. Some non-aggressive whiskerbacks. Whiskerback is a oddly peaceable sounding name. I've got a troll here, but I think I can jump in. Yeehaw! Alright. Very good. I think this is the one where I always have a hard time finding the place to initiate them. Where can I do the... Because I need me some inspiration here, just in case. Where do I get the... Yeah, I always have this problem with this cave. As you can see, I always have problems with these troll caves anyway, but where is it now? Where's the spot where I can... Somewhere around this fire, as I recall? It's not telling me that I can be inspired. I want to be inspired, if that's not too much trouble. Oh, great. It's... Oh. I have to wait for it to expire. Okay. Right. Because I'm still under the effect of the previous inspiration. That's really annoying. Okay. So, how much time do I have? 2 minutes. Alright. Well, I suppose I could try this the risky way. Will my uninspired stealth get me past the trolls? Living dangerously. Let's see if we can do this. Okay. I just have to use the barrel here without getting killed. Minding my own business. Barrel. It remains dark. Oh, look, I didn't even have to leave stealth to do that. That was nifty. Okay, which is the way I came? That way, huh? Alright. Oh, hey, look, I'm suddenly inspired again. When did that happen, even? So weird. I just don't get this. Oh, no! Oh, it's a good thing that inspiration kicked in for no reason. Oh, yeah? Yeah, is that what you think? I've been inspired by Elladan himself, and I'm still wearing his pants. Take that. Going the right way? Yeah, going more or less the right way. Oh, hang on. Seem to be injured, right? No, I'm good. Alright, I'm good. Okay. Okay. Is this the exit? Ha! I don't need the shit. Oh, wait, what's this? I can't receive the inspired effect for another 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? Man, that was such an efficient exploration of that cave, too. Like I said, the inspiration in these areas is a little bit confusing. Okay. Well, fine. That's okay. I don't care. Because I want to do something else. Since we're in this area, there's one thing we have never found. Oh! Oops. Let's see. I want to look over here. Okay, so the cave's over there. Let me see. I used to know the way. What will happen if I go over here? I know this isn't the way to the other cave. Cave's up, down there to the left. But I think if I go this way, I will come to another awesome landmark. Yeah, I think I'm on the right track. Since I can't be inspired for a bit anyway, just gotta stealthify myself in this narrow pass. See if I can sneak past blight worms and other random trolls. Because I think some very old friends live down this way. And I wanted to pay them a little visit since I was in their neighborhood. And Gryfflet hasn't gotten to go there. Huh, look at this. Pots. Huge kettles. And on the ground, what's that on the ground? Look like tools of some kind? Like huge magnifying glasses. What the heck are those? Pans! They're pots and pans, right? But enormous pots and pans. So someone who's really interested in cookery lived here, but apparently a long time ago, as the pans have sunk into the ground and are almost covered by the earth. And look at this. There's this huge door with a keyhole in it. Okay, so somebody lived in this cave, but they had the sense to lock it up, and it requires a key to open, and it really apparently can't get out by any other means. I wonder who could have lived there. Okay, true confession, I never found that before. That was just new. I just saw that for the first time. That's so neat. Because, of course, we know exactly whose cave that is. Right? Oh, there they are. Here, I'm running into the boulders. There they are. It's Bert and Tom and William. Yes. Okay. Now, of course, if you're a true Tolkien fan, the first thing you will do when you come to the Troll's Cave is look for the bird's nest behind one of their ears. There it is. Oh, there it is. Old bird's nest up behind its ear, right? Which Aragorn points out as like a good reason not to be afraid of these trolls when Merry comes in. There's the old bird nest up behind its ear, right? Which would be rather a strange ornament for a live troll, as he points out. Now it's ironic because remember when the Fellowship just came through here, when Aragorn and the hobbits just came through here. They were all worried to look out for trolls, and Aragorn was totally not worried at all, right? And then they find the glade, and Merry's like, "There are trolls," right? And Aragorn's still not worried, and he takes out his stick. And then, of course, we just passed through that same trail, which is absolutely lousy with trolls. So we get another example of the Fellowship having gone through just in time. And right after they left, all the bad guys came. So here's their old cook fire, right, where they caught... So the, like, let's see, so where, like, the bushes where they would have... and I love, by the way, how they've made this a glade surrounded by pine trees, very much like it is depicted in Tolkien's illustration, Tolkien's famous black and white illustration, his ink drawing illustration of this scene. Very cool. So okay, here we are with the stone trolls. This is a lovely spot, and of course here I am. I'm not going to say anything, but I kind of am being a little bit more successfully burglarious than Bilbo in the sense that I am retaining... Of course, now you might say retaining your stealth in the face of stone statues is a little bit easier, perhaps. But, that's okay. So, yep, they're pretty intimidating specimens, these three trolls. Now, I wonder... Does anybody know? And let me know in the chat here if you guys know, if any of you know this. I've never found. Is there a spot in the game? Because you remember after Gandalf and the dwarves went into the troll cave, and that's of course where they found Sting and Glamdring and Orcrist and a bunch of other treasure. And they took the treasure and they buried it, and they placed they placed a mark over it and spells, like they cursed the treasure so that nobody else would get it. And when Gandalf and Bilbo come back, they recover the treasure that they left and marked and bring it home, and Frodo mentions that Bilbo gives all of his share away. But does anyone know where that troll marking is? Is that stone that was marked by the dwarves? Is that in the book? I know it's in the book. Is it in the game? I would have expected to find it. It's the kind of detail from the book that I would have expected to be present in the game, but I've never seen it. So I was just wondering if anybody happened to know if it was there. So okay, let's head back up now. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna go up and find that. Am I headed the right direction? Sort of, more or less. No, wait. Is this right? No. Aren't there two exits? I think this happened to me once before, where I found that path down and was like, hooray, I'm here, and then I was like, I went out the wrong way and didn't come back the way that I thought I went in, and okay, yeah, this is the way. Right? This is the one that I want? I believe so. Okay, yeah, this is the way I came. I think this is the way I came in. Yeah. Remember that fallen tree. And this should bring us out by the Troll's Cave. Right? Is this their cave up here? Yes. There it is. Okay, there's the troll hole. A troll hole if ever I saw one. Absolutely. Nifty. All right. Gryfflet, being a peaceable sort, prefers to avoid combat if possible, because it's a much more efficient use of his stream time. Yes, indeed. All right. So, good. Now we'll go to our third cave, because I think by the time we get there, yeah, minute and a half, we'll be able to be inspired again. Excellent. So we should easily be able to get our third cave done in time to go back and report to Elladan. Let our good friend Glorfindel know the results, which I'm beginning to doubt. Though, of course, you know, you'd figure if he were hiding in a troll cave, it would obviously be the last troll cave you searched. But, you know, we'll be thorough. Because it's Glorfindel and Elladan, you know, telling us to do this. So, how can you say no? All right, I think I can mount up from here. All right, I'm gonna wind up around to the right. Got some spider eggs, I think, or are those? Whose egg sacs are those? Are those lizard eggs or are those spider eggs? They kind of look like spider eggs. And here are the giant spiders. And I'm successfully dodging them. Is this where the... Oh no, this is... I already passed the place. Alright, I should stop on, introduce myself to the... Stable Master on my way out. Always good to introduce yourself to Stable Master when you are in the region. Okay. No problem with inspiration this time. Excellent. Okay. So let's stealth our way through. And this time, I'm so confident about my inspired stealth that let's do a little bit more lore talk here. Let's see. I'm looking for a lore topic here. Oh, here's one on the subject of the Olog High. So yeah, why not do that? Okay, so this is another question from the source of all excellent lore questions. Well, not all, you know, that boundless source of marvelous lore questions, which is Josh Ramsey. Let's see. Could the Entwives have been involved in the breeding of or corrupted into the Oleg High? Josh, that is one of the most horrifying questions I have ever been asked. The idea that Sauron would have not only taken over the land of the Entwives and corrupted it, but actually used the Entwives themselves as breeding stock is just really the most horrible thing I have. Hey, look at that. I went right to like a beeline to this place. Man. That was awesome. Ah, figures. No Nazgul here. Alright, ancient Kurog. I won't bother you. Anyway, so that's absolutely horrifying. Now, explaining sort of the context of Josh's question... I assume, Josh, that the reason you're thinking in those terms is that it's Treebeard's comment of the relationship between Ents and trolls. You may remember that Treebeard explains. You doing all right, man? You need some burglarious assistance, or you're fine. You're a guardian. You don't need any help. Okay, I think, and this is the entrance, right? Oh yeah. Oh, I should get a title for like efficient cave exploration. Okay. All right, let's do this. Stop by the Stable Master on the way out. Anyway, so you'll remember that Treebeard explains that just as orcs were made in mockery, he says, trolls are very strong. I got a bug after me. Trolls are very strong, but the trolls were only made in mockery of Ents as orcs were of elves. and so there is this implication that there is an actual link between them. There she is. Hi there. I want to introduce myself. And please do show me your travel destinations so that I can swift travel. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So anyway, now it's a little bit unclear. The parallel that he makes, right? If you just take the simple analogy, right? Troll is to ent as orc is to elf, and then you think about what it says in the Silmarillion, and it's all okay. So the elves were, so the orcs were made from elves, right? They were elves who were twisted and perverted and made. So does that mean that the trolls are then twisted and perverted ents that were made into trolls? Which again, this is what I assume to be the sort of the root, the textual core of Josh's question. But see, Treebeard's actual words, I think, are harder to interpret than that.
What do you need?
Okay, let's see. Hang on a second. We interrupt this lore talk to talk with Elladan. Yep, I did it. Yeah, nay, do not frown. So yeah, I'm like, send me on a frickin' wild goose chase, Elladan. What's up with this? Had I not searched, we could never be sure that then I know I was eliminating the troll caves. Absolutely. So by process of elimination, we are much further along than we were before. I'm totally with you. Okay, right. You'll take Glorfindel's barrow and return it to him. Okay. Oh, but you have another avenue of inquiry. Okay. Yeah, maybe it will be the one that bears fruit. Oh, and you've got an earring for me? Okay. That one? Sure. Okay. Oh, wait. You've got a sword, too. Hang on. Is that sword an upgrade? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Plus damage to troll kind? Yeah, let's do that.
Like to spare a moment of your time?
Talk to Barakin. I was just there. Sure, I'll go visit him again. Well, okay, he seems real defensive, Elladan. A productive search? Don't be dismayed. It's okay. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm not thinking you were just trying to get rid of me or giving me busy work, Elladan. I mean, hey, after all I put up with from the Dunedain and Evendim, searching troll caves seems, downright useful. You received word from Barakin in the South Trollshaws. Okay. Your brother dispatched him to watch over the land south of the road, and it seems that duty has been rewarded. Okay. He reported seeing one of the wandering Onodrim. Really, an ent? Fascinating. If this is so, older and wiser eyes than our own may have seen the passing. Ah, yeah, because the ent would be in touch, right? He would know if any of the trees had seen it. Great plan. Yeah, let's talk to an ent. He can tell us what the trees have been telling him. Absolutely. Sounds great. Travel west, right? Yeah, okay, I know where he is. All right. Let's go talk to him about the ent. Absolutely. So, good thing I was already talking about trolls and ents, as this is the troll ent day here, apparently. Okay, so, but as I was saying, the actual wording of what Treebeard says is ambiguous. He says that, ents, trolls were made in mockery of ents, as orcs were of elves. Now, you might hear that and say to yourself, hang on a second, does that contradict the Silmarillion? It doesn't say that orcs, well, first of all, orcs were not made, right? They were, I mean, I guess they were made in the sense the orcs were made, the elves were made into them, but it's not like they were produced, right? Well, here's the thing. Back in the old days, that is, in Tolkien's earlier writings, even the writings that he was producing as late as, right around, right before he was writing The Lord of the Rings, while he was writing The Hobbit, orcs were, in fact, made out of slime and slime, stone, and evil and hatred and cruelty. They were compounded of all of those things. So in Tolkien's older writings, he had not yet come up with that theory about the elves being corrupted into orcs. So it's possible that that line that Tolkien gives to Treebeard is actually remembering back into that sort of older system. Because the trolls were made in mockery of the ents, does not itself suggest that the Ents themselves were perverted into trolls. You have to think that Treebeard would speak a little more strongly about it, right? If the trolls were actually, morally destroyed and physically corrupted Ents, that Treebeard might feel a little more strongly about the trolls than he seems to express. All he expresses for them is a kind of disdain, right? Trolls are mighty strong, but they're nothing compared to Ents, right? That's the only context in which he brings it up. You'd think if they were like his, remember he's been around. He's like the original Ent, right? So some of the original Ents that were perverted into trolls, Treebeard would have known, right? Quite possibly. So you'd think he'd bear a little bit more of a personal grudge. It's a little hard for me to imagine, based on Treebeard's comments, that the trolls actually did originate from perverted Ents in that way, that sort of twisted and corrupted Ents. So therefore, it seems rather that but what is the origin of trolls? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. We certainly, in the context of the Lord of the Rings, don't get any clear indication. So I don't think that these other trolls are necessarily... Now, he does seem to have been interbreeding the trolls with something. That's that's why the trolls can bear the sunlight and not turn into stone later on. But I think it's pretty unlikely to be Entwife. So no, I don't think that the Entwives were much involved there in the trolls. So that would be my opinion, but we'll see. So there might be more that could be said about that. Hey Barakin, tell me about the Ent.
What can I do?
Okay, you've long believed that the Enodrim of legend walked among the wooded areas of the Trollshaws, but you never saw one until recently. Okay, good. As you climbed the high moor towards Imladris to bear messages from Rochwin and Elflank right over by the bridge, a curious mood took hold of me. I strayed from my path and walking south down a great slope into the Valley of the Giants. Well, yeah, that is a strange mood, right? A curious mood to visit the Valley of the Giants. From a great distance I beheld one of the Enodrims standing like a mighty tree, its leaves turning to red. As I watched, it turned and slowly moved behind a great boulder and was lost to my view. Okay, so in the Valley of the Giants. That sounds easy. Okay. Actually, let's go from the Rivendell side. Well, yeah, let's go from the Rivendell side. Valley of Giants, that way we don't have to go through the high moors. So let's 2-hop to Rivendell through Thorinhad and then down to the Giants, up to the Giants Valley from there. And we'll find the Ent. Looks like we'll have time to talk to the Ent today. Probably not time to go on the instance thereafter, so we'll start next time with that. Okay, yep. Actually, new plan. I'm gonna slow travel. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. Slow travel to Rivendell, and I'll get off at the Giants Valley. This way, I can answer another lore question while I am cheerfully riding up through the high moors on the automatic trail. Not getting lost and not getting attacked. That sounds good. Okay. All right. More questions. Now, do let me know, by the way, if you, more lore questions that you guys have as we're speaking here. That'd be good. Josh has given me a whole bunch to talk about. Okay, here's another interesting one. Why would Gandalf fear that Sauron had reclaimed the ring when he heard Faramir's news? So you remember in The Return of the King, when Faramir comes back and reports Pippin is there and Gandalf is there, and he hears about, Frodo and sending Frodo off towards Cirith Ungol. And remember, Gandalf is a little bit on the freaked out side, right? He's like, Cirith Ungol? Morgul Vale? The time, Faramir, the time, right? That's what he says to Faramir. So, and Faramir says, I see your concern, right? That, basically, so he's wondering, oh, hang on a second, does this mean that, the shadow that came over and the unleashing of war, does that mean that he recovered the ring? and that's how Faramir takes him anyway. And Faramir says, "No, indeed, I see your fear, but no, like it couldn't possibly have anything to do with Frodo." So anyway, I'm sorry. So Josh's question is, I was about to answer the question without having finished reading it. So Josh says, okay, as a ring bearer, wouldn't Gandalf know if Sauron had the one again? You'd think so, right? I mean, I believe. I have to say, I actually think that is potentially a matter of opinion. I'm not 100% sure that that's necessarily true. All of the other rings of power will certainly be revealed to the wielder of the one. So if Sauron puts on the one ring, I want to make sure I don't miss the Giant's Veil when we get there. If Sauron were to put on the one, then the wielders of the three would definitely be revealed to him. That's what the One Ring was designed for. Now, the three, remember, were made by Celebrimbor, and they were made independent of the One Ring. They were made independently of the One Ring. They were not, Sauron didn't have any effect on them. So again, like the 9 and the 7 were made by Sauron, they were like pre-programmed to be connected back to the One Ring. The 3 were not. The 1 was rather just simply made sufficiently more powerful that he could expose and command the wielders of the 3. So, now, when Sauron first put the ring on, we were told that Celebrimbor was aware of him, right? So Celebrimbor could detect Sauron attempting to wield the Ring of Power, the One Ring, in sort of to bring its influence over the other 3, its mastery over the other 3 to bear. Does that necessarily mean that any wielder of the 3 would be able automatically and instantaneously to detect Sauron wearing the one? I'm not sure. That seems to me less than 100% certain. Okay, dismount. Here we are in the Giant's Valley. Thanks for the ride. That was nice. So like I said, I don't think that does not seem to me absolutely guaranteed. Again, Celebrimbor was aware of him, but he was Celebrimbor, right? He was the maker of the Rings of Power. He had advanced Rings of Power skills. So does it mean that, could Sauron have the ruling ring back without Gandalf's knowing it? I wouldn't rule that out. That might seem kind of a namby-pamby way to answer the question, but I don't know. We're never told. I mean, a lot of, questions, arise from sort of theoretical scenarios that aren't in the books, right? And, so if this had happened, would that have occurred? And they're very natural kinds of questions to ask, but of course, since they didn't happen, by definition, we can't be 100% sure of the answers. So I will say I don't think it's 100% certain. I also will say I don't think it's 100% certain that Faramir is correct in interpreting Gandalf's anxiety. Faramir might be jumping one step further ahead Faramir might be jumping a step further than Gandalf was. It seems to me possible that Gandalf is simply saying, when Gandalf's wondering about the time, he's wondering about, basically, because what we certainly have is Frodo is heading towards Cirith Ungol and Morgul Vale at the same time that the Witch King and his entire army is marching out of Morgul Vale. So it may simply be that when Gandalf is saying the time, he's sort of afraid lest I don't know, Frodo arrive at the mouth of the Vale at exactly the time that the Lord of the Ringwraiths leads his entire army out, because, Gandalf would probably be really worried about what would happen if Frodo was, I don't know, sitting right there behind a rock next to the path while the Witch King himself rode past on the road like a few yards away. That would probably be a sort of a dangerous point. So, he's sort of wondering, did and is it going to be possible? Just so it's conceivable that he's just worried about not has he already been caught, and is this attack a sign that he was caught? Which again, that's how Faramir interprets his question. It may simply be that he only means, where did this put Frodo in relationship to the oncoming army? So it may simply be a plot hole, right? And something that Tolkien didn't consider. Those do occur. Or there might be, or one of those two other things might possibly factor in. Those are my thoughts on the question. But anyway, I've got an Odrim. I've got an Ent here to talk to. Hi, Mr. Ent. I met an Ent over in Evendim, yeah, by the lake. He looked a little less scary than you, I have to admit. You look a little more moody than he did. The Onod stares at you with expressionless eyes. Onod, of course, is the singular. Onodrim is the plural. Its bark-like skin is coiled with corruption. Oh, dear. And its mouth opens and closes soundlessly. It's lost its voice. Oh, man. That's an important thing. Deep wells of its eyes ripple with anger. Not good. Oh, man, don't throw me into the drake, please. Can I stand with my back to the wall? Will you understand if I do that? Okay. Because I really don't want you to throw me into that enraged mountain drake over there. That would be awkward. Really, for everybody in question. The drake would be just as embarrassed as I would be. I have no doubts. Anyway, so what was I saying? I finished talking about that. Oh yeah, the Ent that he can't speak. I really love that. Very significant for the Ents, as remember Treebeard talks about this, how the elves woke the trees up, and how they cured. It wasn't a wood troll. It was an Ent. Wood troll. That seems a little. Oops. How about that? Okay. Well, we're just about done anyway. Okay. How about I get myself out of the Giant's Valley? Okay, where did I last leave my milestone? Oh, yeah, not good. Tinudir. Yeah. Awkward. Okay. Fine. Alright, I'll just get myself out here. Alright. Yeah, so anyway, so the elves cured the Ents of dumbness, and again, that's a really significant moment. I mean, Treebeard talks about that as, Ents may have been, designed by the Valar, and we get the story of the idea of the Ents and the Shepherds of the Trees from Yavanna and Manwë in chapter 2 of the Quenta Silmarillion of Aule and Yavanna. But Treebeard talks about the Ents, the elves, the original elves, teaching them to speak, and that was a really big deal, and the fact that they have a language in their own language, and that this Ent has been robbed of his language. That's a really big deal. That's a terrible sign of corruption. So we've got this terrible corrupted Ent. So here I was supposed to ask him if he knew of anything that was wrong, and it looks like there's definitely something wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna get myself to the gates of Imladris, because I think I'm gonna take a horse back from there. Yeah. Okay, so back to the gates of Imladris, and then I think we're gonna sign off for today because we are out of time. But I think we made good progress. I think we're on a Elladan has sent us on to pursue a hot trail this time, rather than a systematic search of the... Oh, another stealth lynx, for crying out loud. These stealth lynx are the banes of my existence. Oh, for the day when the stealth links can't one-shot my horse. You've killed enough of my ponies for one day. Infuriating links. Okay. And as I was saying, just about to... Oops. Mistimed my run there. Okay. Very good. Just about to get to the gates of Imladris. Never forgive those stealth lynxes taking out my chicken. Okay, but it does seem like we're on a good trail here. What on earth could corrupt an ent to that extent? So let's. I think we're going to pursue this. All right, so here as we turn down into the Valley of Rivendell again, I think we're going to sign off from here. I love looking down on Rivendell from here. What a beautiful valley. Yeah, there really is a kind of a fairy otherland sense. You know, you come through this cleft in the rocks and into this huge valley opens up beneath you, and you can see the rivers and the waterfalls and the beautiful buildings. And the last homely house just around the corner. There it is. Yeah, there's the last homely house. It's just awesome. All right, so we're gonna sign off from here. And next time we should be able to finish Book 4 next time, get to the bottom of this missing Nazgul mystery, and then we'll be off to the Misty Mountains, I believe, next time to carry on in Book 5. So that'll be fun. We look forward to that. Thanks everybody for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Next week should be fine. I'm going to actually have to miss the week after. But I should be able to be around for next week. Okay, so next week should proceed as usual. Thanks everybody as always for joining me. Bye now.